Hi everyone, my name is Philip Liu. I am a recovering, short-haired, clean-shaven public speaker. Some of you may know me from speaking in various venues on technical subjects related to software quality and testing, or you may know me as the CEO of XBiosoft. I'm also the program chair at PNSQC, and I'm also speaking at many conferences this year, as I do other years. But as with PNSQC, it's a virtual conference. So I'll be sending in a recorded video and it'll be complemented by Q&A, live Q&A. And as I was putting together my video, I realized that there is a lot involved in making a professional video for a virtual conference. It's not as simple as just sitting down and going through your PPT. There's things that you can do to make it as good as possible. And I wanted to share some of the things that I've learned along the way as I've been putting together my video, and hopefully help you to make the best video possible, not only for PNSQC as a technical author, but also if you're just speaking at any virtual conference and have to record a video. So here we go. At the beginning of your talk, it's probably best to be just you and your audience without your PPT. Introduce yourself, the title of your talk, a brief summary of your talk, and why it is that the audience should stay with you. What is it that you discovered? What problem is it that you solved? What special techniques did you learn and that you want to share? So, if you want to know how to make a great video for a virtual conference, stay with me. After you introduce yourself, you want to dive into your talk. And so you can go straight to the PPT and just have the PPT, or you can inset yourself like I'm going to do right now. Like I said, we're here to learn how to make a great video for a virtual conference. The first thing you want to do is make a great first impression. First impressions can be made in many different ways. Like I said, you want to use those first few seconds to introduce yourself and state why people should continue listening to you. Did you know that first impressions can last anywhere between a split millisecond up to 27 seconds? So think of that. You have 27 seconds to make a first impression as to why your audience should stay with you and get the value that you've told them about. The next step is setting the stage. Setting the stage is really huge. There's a lot of components to setting the stage. First off, use the conference branded slide deck, whatever conference you're speaking for. Now, the reason for that is because since it's a virtual conference, everybody's online, and when somebody brings up your video, you want them to see what conference it's for. You want them to see the title of your talk right away, and you want them to see who you are. And so in this way, if they get into your talk 10 minutes late, or if they see it later, then they know exactly what's going on. You provide them the context to see your talk. The next part of setting the stage is using good tools. Now, you wouldn't use a hand drill to do any drilling these days. You would use a power drill or even one with batteries that's more convenient, right? And the same thing goes with making a video. You want to use good tools. So what does good tools mean for making a video? Well, firstly, most PCs and laptops do not have a very good webcam. So unless it's going to be 1080 pixels and at least 30 frames per second, you're going to want to get an external webcam. So I've got an external webcam here I'm using today. You also want to get an external microphone. Now you may think, well, I don't really need that. But what I'm going to do in just a few seconds is I'm going to show you the difference between an external microphone the internal microphone on my iMac, as well as the internal camera on my iMac as compared to an external webcam. So let me show you how that works. I'm going to show you the differences, and I think that after you see the difference, you'll be convinced that if you want to make a professional, high-quality video, you'll use good equipment. So here we go. Okay, so this is the recording with me and my internal iMac microphone combined with the internal iMac webcam. And you can see the difference right away. The video quality is just not there, and the sound quality, it feels like I'm farther away and there's a little bit of an echo. And that's because, you know, the stuff that's internal to these machines is meant for casual FaceTime and things like that. It's not really meant to make a professional video. So now I'm going to switch right back and you'll see the difference right away. And I'm going to mention one more thing, and that is the background that I have is a little white screen that I put around me. And the reason I did that was because this is my kitchen basically, and I don't have a dedicated room to use for making a good video. Some folks may have a library with some books behind them to look a little scholarly, and that would be great and also provides a good color for the background. I don't have that, so I adapted with this screen. So you have to do some experiments and see what works best for you. Also with this internal webcam, before I got my external webcam, I thought, well, maybe I just need to make my face a little brighter. So I did get an external light, and I'll show you how that works. I got this light up here, and I use that to shine down and get some light on my face so that you can see me when I'm talking. So now I'm going to get rid of this background, and you'll see what the effect of the background is too. Now in Zoom you can also record and you can use a virtual background, but for me, I found that using Zoom with a virtual background, it kind of had a hard time differentiating between me and my hair and the way that the background light was, and then with various different virtual backgrounds I couldn't get it to differentiate very well between myself and the background. So I chose not to use the virtual background and with Zoom in the recording, but depending on your situation, maybe that'll work for you. Now I'm going to get rid of this white screen that I got because I just want to show you the effect of it as well. So I'm going to get rid of that, and then I'm going to go back to the other camera, and you'll see, as well as the microphone, and you'll see a huge difference. Hi, I'm back. So I've gone back to the external webcam as well as the external microphone. My microphone is one that's external, made by Audio Tech, and the reason that this microphone is pretty cool is because it has the USB connector, but it also has an XLR connector, so I can actually use this for other purposes, for voice recording and so on. So if I wanted to sing karaoke, I could do that. You also notice I've got the light on still, but I'm going to turn the light off, and you'll see how the extra sensitivity of this external webcam gives me a lot of resolution and also helps with the light situation, which the internal camera could not do. So I'm going to turn off this light here, and you'll see that the camera can still differentiate pretty well. But I'm going to return that screen back because I don't want my audience to be distracted by things behind me. So let me do that right now. Okay, so I'm going to get my little cocoon here. This is my recording cocoon, and you'll see that there is some good improvement. You'll also notice that I did change my shirt. I'm now wearing a pink shirt, and I wanted you to see this because, like I said, first impressions count, and not only the color of the shirt, but also being able to see me compared to the background, right? So I've got a white background, I've got my pink shirt on, I've got me with my dark hair, and fairly dark skin. So you can see the contrast and how that works. So you're going to have to do your own testing based on yourself, your hair, your clothes, your background, and so on in order to get the best effect. Okay, as we've been discussing, you want to use good tools. So in addition to the microphone and the webcam and paying attention to your background and your clothes, you also want to take a look. You might want to take a look at using different software. And right now I'm using my iMac with the Audio-Tech microphone and a cheapy webcam that I got for about $45, but it's 1080 pixel and 30 frames per second, so it's still pretty good. Software that you can use to edit your video and also move your image. If you're going to be talking, you can move your image to different places on top of your slides. Or you can use the zoom option, which would put you on the upper right-hand side. The only problem with that is that your image or the video of you is going to be very, very small. So it will be difficult to establish a connection with the audience when they can barely see you. In that case, you may just want to not even have that at all and just show the PPT with you talking in the background. That is also still acceptable. If you choose, you can just share your screen by itself and not record yourself as video, and that way you can just talk your audience through your slides one by one. You may want to do this if your video camera is not very good, or if you have a bad hair day like myself and you just want to talk through the slides simply. One of the other options is to also record video simultaneously along with your slides using Zoom. And this is especially handy if you have two speakers and you want to flip-flop back and forth. Then you can have the two of you on the right-hand side in a panel, and the audience can see when each of you is talking, and that would lead to a pretty good effect. Okay, here is the option to show your video superimposed on top of your PowerPoint as you're sharing your screen, and you can see the option there to do that. So let's see if I can make this happen here. Okay, so you can see now that I'm sharing my screen. I've got a small inset of myself talking along with the audience, but it is quite small, as you can see. This is also an option. Okay, so now you see how I'm sharing my slides on PowerPoint, but I also had the video of myself on the right-hand side. And so this is especially helpful if you have two speakers and you want to flip-flop between each speaker, and your partner may want to contribute, and you can in unison kind of talk to the slide. So that's very handy. If you just have one speaker and you still want to show some video, as you can see, the video is fairly small, but it's in the upper right-hand corner, and it can still be quite effective in terms of connecting with the audience, although it is kind of small. So here's a short checklist that I put together in terms of things to think about when you're putting together your video. You want to get rid of background noise. You notice I put this cocoon around me because I want to have less distraction for the audience, and also want to have a clean background to contrast me as well as my clothes. And I'm going to change into another outfit very soon, and you'll see that, so that you can see some different contrast there. Sound, I mentioned, is really, really important. There's nothing more aggravating than being on a call or watching a video where the sound is not clear and you can't hear what they're saying, or there's crackling in the background. And of course, video, like I was saying, is really important to have good quality video. One of the things that I also want to emphasize is that when you're making a video of your slides and you're talking through it, it's important to have fonts that people can see. So you want to have at least 24-point font, big enough for folks to see. The next thing is about content. I don't think we need to talk too much about that. I do want to emphasize that we want to generate a really good Q&A after your video. So you may want to have little tidbits that really engage people and draw them into your talk and help them to generate questions for your Q&A session after your video. The last thing you want to do is finish with a bang. So I'm going to finish with a bang by changing my shirt. So hold on. Okay, here I am. You see I've got my gray shirt on. I think it looks pretty good. It has some good contrast with my background. Finish with a bang, right? So you can do this just talking through your PPT, or you can do it by yourself just with a video of you, or perhaps have an overlay of you on top of the PPT, which I'm going to do for mine here. And you want to give us the main takeaways that you have for your talk, as well as leading into the Q&A. So I think that we've covered quite a bit today, but I have a few more things to tell you that I think are really important. The first one is that you are the highlight of the talk. So the Q&A is critically important because this is not a live talk, remember? So you need to give the audience a chance to ask questions, and possibly might even lead to your next talk, right? So leaving time for Q&A is really important, as you are the star, not the video. For our conference, a typical talk is 30 minutes for a technical paper and 15 minutes or less for a technical brief, leaving plenty of time for questions and answers. I've put together this short checklist for what I call content quality, the introduction, the body, and closing. One thing that I didn't mention earlier that I think is really important is establishing eye contact with the audience and connection. And you do that by looking at the camera. I know it's kind of odd to be looking so close into a camera all the time, but you just have to pretend that they're on the other side of the camera, talking with you and listening to you. And the last thing you want to do is watch a video of some guy like this talking to his PPT, right? I mean, this is definitely not a very connecting type of a video, is it? So you want to connect with the audience by looking at the camera, and you want to be able to pace yourself so that you don't rush through the end. Oh, I got to go. It's 30 minutes now, and you don't get to finish your talk. So practice a few times and make sure that you get it right. Okay, so this is the connection that I was talking about, the pace, which we also mentioned. The last thing is, an extra bonus points is to have some variety, right? So you don't want to be a monotone speaker. It's even worse to be a monotone speaker in a video than it is to be live. And so if you're a monotone speaker doing a video, certainly I will probably just go and have breakfast or have a cup of coffee instead. So you want to establish connection with your audience, as well as have some variety in your vocal, not only your volume, but your pitch and your speed. This way it's like you're talking live, right? Rather than just going through your slides like this and looking at your PPT. It's actually that this is going to be quite boring if you're going through your PPT like this, right? I think you'll agree. So takeaways for today. I hope that you've gotten some great tips at putting together a good video, putting together an excellent video for a virtual conference. It's just as important to make a lasting impression as a first impression. And so setting the stage for the video, ensuring the video quality, the audio quality, and making sure that the audience can see you and hear you, as well as your slides. And lastly, I'd like to say that I hope that you have some fun in putting together the video. It should not be a stressful thing. I've learned lots of new things and doing lots of experiments with different microphones and different backgrounds and different clothes, as well as learning different editing software and so on. So it's really up to you to make it the best it can be. And I hope that you've gotten some good tips here, and we'll see you at the virtual conference in October. Thanks.